Hello everyone, welcome back to Speaking Spurs. This weekend we've had updates every single day of the week so far. The weekend is nothing different. We are making sure we still get those updates in, and they're obviously going down well because the subscribers have started going up. There's been good comments going on within the comments section on this channel, so I want to thank you all for getting involved and talking to each other. That's absolutely brilliant that the conversation is going. So welcome to Speaking Spurs and me, Kieran, talking all things Tottenham on this sunny Saturday in Chelmsford, where I'm coming from. I don't know what it's like up and down the rest of the country, but it's quite nice here. So let's jump into it. A few little stories today so far. Obviously, I'm doing an earlier video, so more stories will occur tonight that I'll be able to report on tomorrow after my football match. So they reckon that we are going to have a shock swoop for Juventus's Alvaro Morata, but not till the summer. So the former Chelsea man, he returned on loan to Juventus from Atletico Madrid. They signed him from Chelsea, so he went on loan to Juventus. They have an option to buy him. They just remain a bit uncertain as to whether that's a commitment that they want to make come the end of the season. His Atletico Madrid contract runs out in 2023. And good news on the Morata front in terms of his goal scoring and contributions towards matches, because in the 2021 season, he finished with 20 goals and 12 assists from 44 appearances. And so far this term, he's begun with 3 goals from 7 games. So that's not too bad. He's in fairly good form. Obviously, we know the Italian league isn't as intense as the Premier League. However, one thing I would say about the Italian league is defenders are very, very solid. So not the easiest for a striker. I feel like midfielders are probably the ones that I worry about most when you sign them from Italy, just because of the speed of the game and whatnot. But defenders, I never find a problem with. Strikers, they can be a little bit hit and miss, but Alvaro Morata has had a pretty good career so far, and had spells across different teams in different countries. So he's a player with good pedigree. He knows the Premier League, so it'll be interesting. I don't really see that one happening, but there it is. Newcastle, obviously we spoke about the fact that they have a mega bucks right now. They are being linked with more players than we are, managers and all sorts like that. Expect there to be mass changes there, and I believe they will start that in January. So a player that they are after is Mauro Icardi of PSG, who's somebody else that we've spoken about, somebody that we've looked at several times, and somebody we are indeed still looking at. Now, Icardi has a habit of being a guy that will go where money talks, as well as Champions League football. So Newcastle can't offer Champions League football, but they can definitely offer money. So that could be a bit of a challenge for us to get over, to see if we can persuade him to come to us instead of Newcastle. But if money talks, expect him to head to the Toon. Back to Juventus. And we're going to get linked with a lot of players from Juventus, obviously because of Fabio Paratici and his links with them for such a long time. Obviously, we've spoken about Weston, Mckennie, the USA international that we have been looking at. We were looking at in the summer. We're still looking at now. Juventus have now set their price of £25 million, I believe that'll be. I think it's pounds, not euros. So that's not an over-the-top price for a player of his talent, international pedigree, his age, his experience in the Champions League. So not too bad. I'd be happy to take him for that. Obviously, we're going to have to shift some players, and Tanguy Ndombele was one that I spoke about in the last video, that Barcelona are looking at the possibility of taking him on loan with an option to buy. That'd be one way of getting one out the door, one out, one in. However, I really don't want to see Tanguy go. I would love to see the guy light up in the way that we know he can. He's just such a talented player, and it really frustrates me. And any of you that have been watching the channel for a while know how much it frustrates me that this guy has the ability to turn on like a 5p piece, but yet doesn't seem to have any kind of determination and hunger at times. But yeah. So, and next on this is we'll go back to Newcastle again. So with their takeover from the Saudi Arabian owners, there was a lot of uproar when they tried to buy them before, and I think that's just because of the way they treat humans within Saudi Arabia, and things like that. There's many things that teams were a little bit worried about with this sort of thing. It all went quiet, and now the takeover has obviously gone through. So apparently the other 19 Premier League clubs are going to hold an emergency meeting next week. I don't really see what it's going to do because the sale's gone through. The Premier League allowed it. They would have had an ethics board and whatnot look at it. So I got a feeling that it is just what it is, and the other teams have just got to get on with it at the end of the day. We saw it with Chelsea. Abramovich came in, invested heavily, and it took them onto new heights. Manchester City have had the exact same thing. So Newcastle are just the next team in the pecking order. The worry is just the sheer abundance of money they've got. It absolutely dwarfs the money of Chelsea and Manchester City, and I think they're probably two of the clubs most worried about it, and I can guarantee they are two of the clubs that are really driving the other Premier League teams to try and squash the Saudi Arabian ownership. I don't think it really affects us too much because we are where we are. We're not pushing for the Premier League title. We are in a building phase once again. It does push us one more place down the pecking order if Newcastle manage to get the quality in that money can buy. But, you know, that's up to Daniel Levy to work the purse strings in the right way, get the right manager in to reinvigorate the squad and get the best out of them, because Pochettino didn't spend ridiculous amounts of money. He worked with a young squad, brought them through, let people go when they needed to go, and tried to keep it fresh. And eventually I think we just ran out of legs because got attached to the squad, I suppose. Too many of them sticking around for longer than they should without refreshing and reinvigorating people. Let's move on to the internationals at the moment. So Wales and the Czech Republic played and finished 2-2. Now, Joe Rodon has been getting massive praise on social media from not just Spurs fans or Wales fans, plenty of people as neutrals that were watching the game. You know, he's been labelled as sensational. Somebody said, why doesn't he get a look in at Spurs? And then somebody else was like, he is a beast. So yes, they conceded 2 goals, which doesn't sound great for a defender. However, Czech Republic, you know, we could see from the summer just the quality of the attacking players they've got within their squad and how they can hurt people. So Rodon was up against it. They've got strong players, physical players, quick players. The Czech Republic don't get enough credit. They're a much better team than you think. People like Schick and Souček. So yeah, they are. I think Czech Republic are back to close to being back to where they were once upon a time. But yeah, Rodon held his own very well, and I do think he's a very good defender and probably deserves more chances. And I don't understand why he doesn't get more. Is it just because of the money that Sanchez and Dyer are on and they're senior players within the squad? I don't really know. Is Rodon just seen as one for the future and he's still trying to learn from the others? Can he be trusted? I'm not really too sure, but in the games that we've seen him so far, towards the end of last season and certainly this season, I don't understand why he doesn't get more game time. I can guarantee if we were playing in a back three, he would definitely get more game time. But look, we're in other competitions, the Cups and the Europa Conference League, so expect him to get game time there. And if he can impress enough in that, then I don't see why he won't be trusted going forward in the Premier League. But that'll all come down to players like Eric Dyer. Is he going to be making the same mistakes of last season? Because, to be fair, he's been all right so far this season. I know a few people commented in the last video talking about players they want out, moaning about Dyer, but really he hasn't done much wrong this season. And people pointed out that he was at fault for the goal in the last game, but he actually wasn't. If you watch it back, it's Romero who causes the issue. He completely misses his tackle, which leaves Dyer with a decision to make. You go to the man, which leaves the man you were originally with in space, or you stay where you are and the man that Romero's just let through goes through on goal, or you sit in between the two and hope that they panic. So, you know, I think he's been fairly decent so far this season and doesn't deserve the criticism, and it's all coming from his performances last season. I feel it's just a continuation of that rather than people actually looking at it for what it is this season. Also, Pascozzi, who we saw a lot in pre-season, and looked fairly decent, to be fair. I feel like his crossing was a bit poor, but that could be because he was overexerting himself energy-wise to impress the manager and get forward. So by the time he was taking the crosses, he was a bit burnt out. But he has been on international duty with Estonia. So he's only 18 years old, our Spurs youngster. And And he's doing very well for Estonia. He looks a very good player. So they were up against Belarus and they won. And lots of people were talking about him. I suppose Spurs fans that are really heavily invested, they do watch as many of the internationals as they can where our players are playing, which is absolutely fantastic that you're rooting for the young lads and maybe some of the guys on the fringes of the first team. But I mean, Pascozzi, I was quite impressed with him in pre-season, to be fair. I thought he applied himself really well. And as I said, just lacking that little bit of quality with the final ball. But you find that of a lot of players, to be honest, of the highest grade. I mean, Lucas Moura, how many times have we said that he just lacks that final moment? So I'm not going to be overly critical on him. I think he's got a massive future. And hopefully we handle him in the right way, give him some loan spells, hopefully League One, Championship, then work his way up to us. Okay. Harry Kane has been shortlisted for the 2021 Ballon d'Or. I think we all saw this coming. He had a very good season in terms of numbers last season, not just goal scoring, but with his assists as well, his all-round gameplay. Unfortunately, he hasn't continued that this season. We know he's had fitness issues, obviously the disappointment of England losing in a final. Tottenham obviously lost in a final as well, so he's had 2 cup defeats in a very short space of time. Then his future was up in the air. Not just with him having to deal with it, social media, Tottenham fans getting on his back. Like, loads of people turned on him over the course of the summer. I don't expect him to win the Ballon d'Or. Although I think he should be at least very close with the performances he put in last season to come up with the numbers that he did and just the sheer vision of his passes. I think his defensive contributions as well in the box, completely underrated. Last season, he was pretty much an all-round player. He was 3 players in one. So looking at that, there's no reason he shouldn't be right up there. And if he were to win it, I wouldn't say it was unjust or unwarranted. Going back to Eric Dyer, he, if any of you have looked at it, and it's completely disgraceful, so far this season in the Premier League, he is our most creative player. A central defender is our most creative player. He's created 2 big chances in the game so far. Even Hugo Lloris has created 1 chance, which means the rest of the squad, bar those that haven't created any chances, are level with our goalkeeper for creating big chances. That's absolutely disgraceful, especially considering the talent we got in the squad. All right, Bergwijn's been injured. He still managed to create a chance in the games that he was involved in. Lucas Moura, Bryan Hill, Tanguy Ndombele, Giovanni Lo Celso, Harry Kane, Dele Alli. We're talking about a lot of supposed attacking talent there, and Eric Dyer sitting at centre-back has managed to out-create all of them so far. Look, we know we have not filled the void since that man Christian Eriksen left us. Even at his poorest towards the end of his Spurs reign, he was still creatively good in aspects, all right? So hopefully, everybody pulls their fingers out. Nuno will certainly be looking at that stat saying, guys, you need to do more in these games. It's a little bit worrying. One more point that we'll finish up with today, so you got a nice short, like 15-minute video. Former Liverpool defender Glenn Johnson has urged Philippe Coutinho to sign for Spurs over Arsenal. So obviously, Barcelona are going for a massive transitional period with not a lot of money at the moment. Koeman is their manager, who they can't get rid of because they can't afford to sack him because of the money it's going to cost them. They are really, really struggling as a squad. They're in a bad moment. Coutinho hasn't exactly been on top of the world for a little while since he's been there. He's been linked with several teams. He obviously went out on loan to Bayern. They didn't end up buying him, so he gone back over there. He's been linked with moves constantly everywhere around Europe, and nobody has taken him. And I think it's because not only have people been priced out of moves for him, also his wages. So for him to move, he's going to have to take a pay cut for a start. He will be cheaper because Barcelona need the money, as we managed to get with Emerson Royale. And if I was us and Tanguy was going that way, I would try and put something in a deal for that. Coutinho, there's still a lot of talent in there. He just needs to be in the right squad. Let me know below, guys, what you think about the prospect of Coutinho coming to Spurs. Can he be that creative spark that we're missing at the moment? Or do you feel that Giovanni Lo Celso needs more consistent game time within the squad to get up to the levels that we know he can reach? Or do you think Coutinho coming in will add decent competition for Lo Celso and get him to pull his finger out and push on? Who knows? Let me know in the comments below what you think about the players that we've been linked with. So that was Alvaro Morata, Mauro Icardi, Weston, Mckennie, and Philippe Coutinho. And let me know what you think about that disgusting stat of Eric Dyer being our most creative player. But thanks for sticking around today, guys. Really enjoyed doing this one. There will be another video tomorrow, as I said, after I finish my football match. Hopefully there'll be some good juicy gossip. As you can see, transfer rumours are just circling. Every day we are being linked with at least 2 to 3 more players. So it gives me plenty to talk about. Most of them are probably not even on our radar, but nonetheless, that's what's being reported. So I'm breaking it to you guys. Have a lovely weekend. Enjoy the sunshine if you're somewhere with sun. If not, unlucky, and wrap up warm. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like, and put your comments below, and we'll keep the conversation going. But thanks for sticking around, guys. Stay safe, and as always, come on you Spurs.